We welcome you to the Gig Sessions Lunchtime Talk. Today, we are featuring Trudy Lynn and Lurrie Bell. Trudy Lynn was born in Houston, Texas. She's an American electric blues and soul singer and songwriter whose recorded work has been released on 12 studio albums, 1 live album, and 4 compilation albums. Alex Henderson with All Music says that Lynn isn't one to hold back emotionally. Like Coco Taylor and Etta James, she screams, shouts, testifies, and gets her point across in a highly convincing way. Next, we have Lurrie Bell. He was born Lurrie C. Bell, and he is the son of the renowned blues harmonica player Carrie Bell. He started playing guitar at the age of 6, and in his teens, he polished his skills playing with the legends of the Chicago blues scene, including Eddie Clearwater, Big Walter Horton, and Eddie Taylor. Welcome, guys. Good to see you.
Hello.
Good to be here.
Hey.
So, yeah, the last time we all saw each other was in Memphis for the Blues Music Awards last year.
That's right.
And yeah, that was a lot of fun.
And I've been missing you, Lurrie.
And I've sure been thinking about you too.
So good to see you.
It's good to see you too, Trudy.
So yeah, when we were in Memphis, we met at John Namath's house to record a front porch sessions with Tony Holiday.
Wow.
And I remember both of you performing, but did you get to perform together?
We didn't get a chance to do that. I hate that. We're going to do that next time, right, Lurrie?
Oh, of course. We got to do that next time for real.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're gonna be the icing on the cake for all the blues singers.
Oh yeah. When we get the blues now, me and you together now, it's gonna be something else. It's gonna be amazing.
Right, it will.
Because I think you're one of the greatest female vocalists on the blues scene out here these days.
Oh, I appreciate it. I've been doing it a long time. I did festivals with your father.
Okay.
We traveled overseas a lot. We went to Turkey together and went to Europe together.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah.
I know it now, though.
Pictures and books and all with us in it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was
I've been having my eye on you a long time.
And I've been having my eyes open on you too a long time too.
I like that.
That's fabulous. So how did you two first originally meet?
Well, just through concerts, doing concerts, and mostly overseas,
Well, I think Trudy, we met.
Chicago, and I'm from Texas. So,
but we met. The first time we met was in Europe, wasn't it?
Yes, it was in Europe.
Germany. Yeah.
So have you ever shared a stage together, or are we starting a new Trudy Lynn Lurrie Bell acoustic project?
Oh, this is new out of the box, baby. This is new.
That would be fun to do, actually. I could see that.
Oh, yes, it would. I would love to do that with him. Because he be feeling on that blues like I do. Feeling it, and everybody be feeling the same thing.
Yeah, we hit a groove now. It come together. It does. Somehow or another, it's just we know how to greet each other with this music out here. A lot of people, it's okay, but ain't nobody out here on the scene like Trudy Lynn. And when I get to playing my guitar and playing behind her, it's amazing. It's something special.
That's right. It's a lot of fire come up in there, baby. That be that energy.
Yeah,
You can't fight that feeling. You got to feel it in order to do it.
Well, if you don't feel it, you might as well quit. you gotta have a feeling first when
That's
you
right, baby. And when I go to feeling on it, it be unreal, baby.
it be together.
I let it go. When I be feeling it, I let it go, baby.
I know what you mean.
Who did you base your style on, Trudy? What were you raised on?
Well, a lot of people have put me to sound like different peoples, but I just don't feel like I have. And then because I've always just been me, and I've had a lot of people to also come up to me and say, I don't know who you sound like. Well, I sound like Trudy. And that's just it. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody got a blues song to sing. If we all sound alike, wouldn't be no more for one or two to work all the time.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
Amen.
yeah. That's why God put the colors in the rainbow. If it was one color, nobody wouldn't pay no attention. He put a lot of colors in there. So my color is this color, and I just do my thing. Bang, bang, bang.
And nothing wrong with that.
So, who was the first person you saw live in concert, Lurrie, and what age were you?
The first person I saw live in concert was Eddie Taylor and my dad, and when they had a band on the west side of Chicago in the basement, and I went over there to visit my father, and those were the first guys I saw. Eddie Taylor on guitar, and my dad on harmonica. Those were the first guys, and when I saw those guys playing music in my dad's house, I picked up the guitar and taught myself how to play a 12-bar blues, and I've been doing it ever since.
And do you remember how old you were?
I must have been, I don't know, might have been 7 years old, something like that.
Wow. That's awesome. So how about you, Trudy? Who was the first person you ever saw in concert?
The first person I ever saw in concert was Bobby Blue Bland.
Oh, wow.
And I was a teenager. And it was a concert here at the Coliseum, which is no longer, and I think it was about $1.25 at the door, 75 pre-sale. It was Bobby Bland, and he had LT&T Braggs, and he was really the first person I ever seen perform. Was Bobby Blue Bland with my mother, and I think I was about just making 13, and it was my birthday, and she kept me to that concert.
And so did you know at that moment that's what you were going to do?
Oh, yeah, I was already singing. I was doing group singing in school and in the choirs and things like that, you know. And then me from Houston, I was born here in Houston, and they had an area where I was born was Fifth Ward, and was where world famous known Club Matinee back in the day, where all of the black artists would go to. And my mother had a beauty shop in that area, and I would see a lot of those artists, you know, just walking through. I would see a lot of those artists. I would see Willie Mae Thornton, Joe Hinton, Bobby Bland. I even seen James Brown. And it was a gym here in Houston. I was a young girl, and James Brown used to go to this gym, and he would be spurring, what they call it, sparring, boxing with different people and stuff, and I would see that.
Oh, wow. And this was in Houston? Yeah, that's
In
right. Wow.
Yeah, and so I got a chance to see a lot of people, Big Walter Price. I just normally just walking down the street or riding in their cars and things. My father and my mother would point out who they were, you know, but I've always liked to sing.
So who do you go see in Texas now live? Who are some of your favorite artists?
Well, when I'm home, usually because I travel a lot, you know, when I'm home, a lot of times when I'm home, I don't even want to leave home, you know. But it's a lot of well-known artists out of Houston. You got Joe Tex, Joe Hughes, Texas Johnny Brown. It's a lot of them. We used to go out and support each other when we were all, you know, when they were living and we were all here in Houston. You know, they did a birthday party here, I think last month for Lavelle, but she's in Austin for Lavelle White, you know, so if I get a chance to go out, I go. But other than that, when I'm off and not touring, I'll be trying to get me some rest.
Indeed.
I do, because touring it you know, it's a lot of work,
It is a
but it's
lot of work.
enjoyable work to me.
Well, the 12 hours and, it's the stage part that's enjoyable. The travel part can be, yeah, can be the
That's part of
gruesome
the
part,
game. That's,
the
just say
game,
that's part of the game, babe.
part of the game. So how about
Yeah.
you, Lurrie? Who's some of your favorites in Chicago you like to go see?
Well, my favorite musicians that I grew up listening to was way before I was born, like people like Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf and old Sonny Boy Williamson, cats like that who influenced me on the blues scene and guitar and everything like that, But a lot of people, like, for instance, now I grew up listening and learned a whole lot of guitar style from Mr. B.B. King. Now, B.B. was one of my favorite blues guitar players that I ever had the pleasure of listening to. And I had the pleasure of meeting B.B. just before B.B. passed. I met him, and, I like people like, for instance, Albert King and Freddie King and Little Milton Camel and people like that. I learned a lot of style from those guys, from those people.
Well, then let's talk about one in particular. You've got a new album coming out. Who are you paying tribute to on this one?
Mr. Freddie King.
Yeah, Mr. Freddie King.
Yeah.
And are we what kind of Freddie King are we going to get on this album?
Well, I got a lot of tunes I'm doing on this. I think about I don't know, 9 songs I'm doing by Freddie King.
Wow.
Yeah. And I kind of like, I've been knowing a lot of Freddie King music ever since I was, you talking about like 25, 30 years ago when I first got introduced to Freddie King music, and I kind of like it's kind of a compliment for Mr. Freddie King that I'm doing this particular CD.
That's awesome. So yeah, we had to reschedule that release date, didn't we, Lurrie? And why did that have to happen?
You had to what now?
We had to reschedule when you were going to release that album, and why did we have to do that?
Well, I couldn't tell you right offhand why do you have to reschedule it?
Because of the pandemic.
Oh, because of the pandemic, right.
We hunker down so deep until we hunker down. So.
But that's so beautiful that as we're all sitting here doing the right thing and waiting for, whatever that is that's going to be and when that will be, that obviously you guys are enjoying it and being safe and okay with where you're at.
Yes, I'm enjoying it, but I prefer to be working somewhere, but it is what it is, and I'm going to do the right thing, babe.
And both your states started to reopen and then reclosed, and so I don't know what's
terrible here in Texas right now, especially in Houston. It's kind of rough here in Houston right now.
So do you Sorry, Larry, go ahead.
Far as the music scene in Texas is kind of rough, huh?
Oh yes, and especially here in Houston because there's no clubs. It's clubs that are opening and doing things like early. I think the latest that they stay open is about 12. And most of them that are open are restaurants, clubs with food. Restaurants, but maybe let 50 or 60 in. That's not doing you no good till you open your door.
Right, right.
You know, with the
What, what,
overhead,
what,
this
what,
is what the club have. So it's rough. It's rough. It's rough on the club
what
owners
about
here. You know,
what about the festivals? Is no
or it's no
festivals in
festival.
Houston?
It's you can't spell festival this time.
Uh-oh. All right.
I mean, no, it's no festivals. None of that. None of that. None of that.
Mm.
Yeah, and yeah, everything got rescheduled to 2021.
That's right. That's right. All of I had a lot of tours for this year, but everything is to next year. Still, it's all still if it's the good Lord's will, all of it.
Well, and grateful that this was going to be a good year for a lot of people, and so as tragic as all this is, it's great that it wasn't just erased. We
Right,
just get to pause until we get to enjoy it.
right, right.
So what are you doing with yourself, Lurrie?
Well, I'm doing a lot of playing in my apartment nowadays, because my touring jobs and recording sessions and all that got canceled because of this virus job. Because
Right,
of this virus pandemic that's out, I can't work like I really want to, like I always has, or tour, nothing like that. So I'm doing a lot of wood shedding in my house nowadays, and rehearsing and coming up with different arrangements to songs, and until then, I just gotta hold on and wait until something happened where I can go back to work.
So
right.
serious question, Lurrie. How big is your broken string pile during all this wood shedding session?
You know what? Since all this been happening, I haven't broke any guitar strings here lately.
Get out of here.
Seriously, I haven't. I haven't. I usually tend to break a lot of strings when I'm on stage. Not this time.
That's awesome. That's
I,
great.
I know that I pick up my guitar and all my strings are on my guitar, and I don't have to worry about breaking those strings nowadays. I guess because it comes natural in my style, that the way I play, because I don't use a guitar pick or nothing like that.
No, you never use a pick?
Every now and then, but not too often.
Okay. So how about you, Trudy? What you doing with your time? Are you sewing? What you doing?
Well, I'm not doing too much sewing. I do a little sewing. So I made a bunch of Macs, and I've been doing a lot of writing, and I'm also getting ready to do a vocal duo thing with Dave Keller.
Oh, nice.
He's doing an album, and he's going to feature a lot of artists on it, and it's going to be for the proceeds of the album will go for the peoples with the Black Lives Matter situation.
Oh, sweet. Is Dave in Houston now?
Yes, I'll be doing a duet with him on the CD, and then a single on the CD with him. So I've been working with, and then I've been doing some writing on my own. I got a song that I wrote, Laura. It's called Golden Girl Blues, but I need you to play on it for me.
You want me to play guitar on it?
Yeah, yeah.
All
It's
right.
called about us girls when we start getting old.
Uh-oh.
The
I'm starting
situations
to.
the situations we have to go through.
Those things that, yeah, no grandmother.
You're up all night and you can't sleep and you can't bend over to touch your feet. You got to go and get
All those things your mother and your grandmother can never prepare you for.
That's right. That's right.
So is Dave Keller in Houston, or are you guys doing this by?
No, I'm gonna record at a studio here, do the vocals, and so they're sending, over the phone the PC bit things, and I go into the studio and lay my vocals. He's gonna send the vocals with the band that he's doing it, and then I'll just lay my tracks off into it, And that's why practically everybody's doing it because nobody's really traveling right now. So we just
Right.
the studio. We got a studio here that I'll be going to do the recording for the song. So I'm looking for it. I think it's going to turn out to be a good project. And the song I'll be doing is called "The Evil That Men Do." It's a beautiful song with a lot of definition off into it that I think people will really get off into. It's the evil that men do.
And is this a song Dave Keller wrote?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Nice. I'm a
Every
fan of
song
Dave's.
That he wrote. So we're working on that.
I like Dave. He's fun. The soul side of the blues is not a path a lot take. So I've always admired that he does that really well.
And I like that. That's what I like about it. He's got a lot of soul in him, and I like that.
Yep, he truly does.
And I feel like he's the real deal.
Yeah,
not because we are doing it, the song together. Because I'm the one that called him and told him that I would like to be in that project. He just put out there on an email one time. He was writing and said he was thinking about doing this project and would anybody be interested. I just thought it would be a great idea.
That's
Since
awesome.
we're not doing anything, just and then doing that is you're doing some good. You're raising money to help.
Yeah, to help a cause.
That's right.
So yeah, that's I live in a little tiny town, and I say that a lot on this show. So a lot of what's happening in the social climate of this world, I just am totally shielded from, and I'm grateful to live where I do for that reason. But I also realize that I live in a place that, I'm so taken back by a lot of things, and I'm grateful to realize that I found a home where I believe, that racism and prejudice don't exist.
Oh yeah, it's.
I found Mayberry. That's what I'm saying. I found Mayberry. I literally live in Mayberry.
I love Mayberry. I like Andy and Barney. I love them.
Yep. To this day, I still watch it. Me too. It doesn't matter.
I watch it.
Right. And it doesn't matter how much times have changed. It's just one of those feel-good moral stories.
Yeah.
Do you watch TV, Lurrie? What do you watch?
Some of everything. I don't know. I kind of keep my eye on the news nowadays because I be trying to find out what's going on out here in the world, I mean, I get to the point where, and when I'm not working, I'm like, what's going on? I'm trying to find out, what's happening out here in the world. Won't nobody come to you and knock on your door and say hello no more. So, I try to keep my eyes on the news, and sometimes I watch a lot of westerns and stuff, simple stuff like that every now and then.
I love westerns.
You like
what?
Ooh, I love them Cowboys. I'm a Texan now.
All right.
I never thought I would. And then when I lived in Colorado, we watched a lot of them, and I really got into it. I like them.
You ever notice in those westerns when the gun, they have a 6-shooter gun, there'll be 6 bullets. When they be shooting, they shoot about 18 shots out.
Right.
That one gun, you watch them old westerns, I get a kick out of that.
That is funny.
It's only 6 bullets in there, but in that movie, they shoot out that gun about 8 or 9 times.
Do you know what your daddy's favorite show was, Lurrie?
My father's favorite show, I think, was Sanford and Son.
Okay, that was a favorite of his, but I was thinking more along the lines of what we were saying, which is Walker, Texas Ranger. Do you remember that show?
Yeah, I remember that picture.
And your dad, whenever I would book tours and shows for your dad, he would always make sure at least 6 out of 10 times that he was in his hotel room in time to watch that show.
All right. I think I do kind of remember my father liking that particular episode there.
And it was so it was so like unusual. And when you'd ask him why he'd like it, you know, it was back to that kind of like the Mayberry, just the happy moral stories. The bad guy gets caught, good guy, you know, that fabulous story we all watch things. So what you guys gonna, I mean, have you played at all in Texas, Trudy, since March?
No.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, when this pandemic first kicked off, I was getting ready to go to Spain.
Yes,
And
you were.
I was getting ready to leave to go do a tour of Spain. And I had my luggage ready. And I got up the morning of, it was about 4 a.m. Some just woke me up and some said, look at your phone. I looked at the phone and I was getting ready to go to the airport. And they told me that the tour had been canceled. So I haven't did anything since then.
And are you, have you set you're taking the year off and we're focusing on 2021?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing now. Just focusing on 2021 and working on some material to get some, to try to get me a new release for 21, at least for that year, coming in. So I've been writing and doing stuff like that, and just, that's about all.
Nice. Yeah, I know there was a little bit of talk, and not trying to open up anything here, of maybe doing an acoustic album. Are you still thinking on that line?
I'm doing an acoustic album. Yes, I still want to get one of those did. I really do.
Nice.
Right, but remind the stuff I've been writing. Well, I guess it could be did acoustically, but I wasn't thinking that way. But I still would like to do an acoustic album. I would like to do an acoustic album on songs like when I was young, coming up. I would like to just record these songs with maybe a keyboard player or guitars, and do an acoustic thing on songs that I've always liked, because I've always, even when I was young, I was a Donald Washington fan. My mother used to play a lot of Donald Washington. And I want to do her songs like This Bit of Earth and What a Difference It'll Make. Songs like that, songs that I just like hearing,
Yeah, I think that's important, I'm reaching the age.
On that type of music.
Yeah.
Show another side of me.
That, and pay tribute to the history that
made
you who you were or who you are.
That's right. Because I did get a chance to see Donald Washington do a concert when I was younger. I think I was about maybe 18 or 19. I know I just got married, and she worked at a club where my ex-husband, my kid's father, worked with a group there, and she was on the show, and I never thought I would in my life that I would see Donna Washington, but I had a chance to see her do a show live, and it was mesmerizing. It's something I'll never forget.
Yeah. I mean, to me, my first concert, to show our age difference. Are you guys ready to hear who my first concert was?
Yeah.
My first concert was Prince. And Prince. Yep, I saw the Purple Rain tour. That was my first concert ever.
We're talking to a baby, Lurrie.
Yeah, and it was so it set the standard of what I expected all concert stages to be like. Forget the talent. It was, the show was, it set my standard. So yes, unique and original, which I think both of you are. Yeah. You fit the bill. So what you have to say over there, Smiley Lurrie? You're smiling. Smiling like you want to say something.
I'm feeling all right. Ain't too much going on for me as far as activities is concerned when it comes down to gigging, but I'm feeling good, and I got my music and my instruments at home waiting for me when I get back there, and I'm gonna think about y'all, and I'm gonna come up with some songs. I'm gonna come up with some new material that I can come up with, so I can think about what a good interview this has been.
Ah, you're sweet,
And to be talking and Trudy, Lynn, and everybody, I'm like, hey, this is what it should be like.
I mean, it's taking a lot of cobwebs out of me.
Yeah, Trudy, you're right.
I'm enjoying this because we've just been sitting, so I'm just full of cobwebs. So I get a chance to just stretch out.
Yeah, I hear you.
Somebody.
I hear you. I hear you.
And thank you so much, guys, for doing this, because that is why I want to do this. I figure, like, how many closets can you clean? How many, shelves can you dust before you need that human contact? Yeah. I'm a social person.
You go stir crazy. When I get like that, I get up and turn on music, turn on loud, go to singing, and just my daughter bought me a little karaoke mic where you can hear yourself, and just and I put on my own music and start singing with it. I said, boy, I got to do something, so to keep my chops.
I hear you. I heard that. Same here.
So do you do private concerts for your family at home and for the folks in your apartment, Lurrie?
Private concerts?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I do a couple of private shows at where I live at, and the people that seem to enjoy it, it's all good, and it makes me feel good to know that somebody in where I live at can relate to my music the way, that's a good feeling to know that you ain't in this whole wide world all by yourself. Yeah. And I can, I get by my guitar and I can just come up with all kinds of different tunes and what have you, and I'm grateful and I thank God, that I still have the ear these days to be able to play music and do shows and perform, because I'm not getting no younger. So
well, I tell people I got more time behind than I do ahead, and that's another song I'm writing. I got more time behind than I do ahead, baby.
I hear you. I heard that.
Just think about it. As you age, you have more time behind than you do ahead. So go ahead on and do what you got to do.
And then it's so odd to hit that age when you start to recognize that, because you get like this, like for me, I'll get something really ambitious that I want to do. And then it's like, okay, that's 5 years. And then you're like, nope, let's find a new project. I don't want to put 5 years into that. So you start to minimize what you will focus on. Instead of 100 things, you do 5 things.
Mm-hmm. And when you get my age, it's one at a time, baby, one at a time.
You look so great for your age. So I crack up when you say that, because you're so spry and so young.
I've always been one day at a time person. That's why.
Okay. I'm going to practice that.
I never overload.
And that's good. That's an art. You should teach classes in that.
Yeah, because when you overload, some go give out somewhere.
Yeah, it always does. Yes, it does. Well, I so truly appreciate you guys being here. Crazy to think it's been over like a year and a half since I saw you two last.
Yeah.
So definitely a pleasure. And hopefully early 2021, I'll be present to give you hugs in person. And sit tight through this year. Keep safe and tell us what you have. Make a comment on the way out the door to your fans. Trudy, you go first.
I would like to tell all my fans to wear a mask. you know, this virus ain't nothing to play with. A lot of people don't want to wear a mask, but wear a mask and then you'll be able to see me in 2021. You know what I'm saying? And to just hunker down, stay safe, and keep listening to the blues and keep me in the lineup. And thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Trudy, for being here. So, Lurrie, what do you have to say to your fans?
Well, I'm gonna tell all the blues fans that I know that know me and my music is whatever you do, do not forget about the blues. The
All
blues,
right.
because to me, the blues is the most powerful music that there is. And if you forget about the blues, you're gonna miss out on something. So all the blues fans out there, keep digging the blues and don't never forget about the blues, because the blues is the real deal. It's the facts of life where everybody go through the blues. I don't care how young you are. I don't care how old you are. It don't make no, everybody have issues when it come down to the blues. And
Everybody
don't
got a
forget the
blues
blues.
song.
Yeah, I got a blues song. I'm gonna make a blues song out of what I just said. Don't
All
forget
right
about
now.
the blues.
All right now.
All
Right now.
right.
The people that say they ain't got the blues.
Yeah. Everybody has the blues.
Right. Even babies have blues.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe that's where we'll end today, with commissioning every blues fan to bring someone who's not totally aware of what the music's about and turn them on to this music.
Yeah.
To make one new fan out of all your friends a year, that would be a nice thing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So yeah, wear a mask,
Hey.
be safe, and thank you so much for joining me today, guys.
All righty.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So thank you for joining us. We will return next week, Thursday, 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern. And next week we will have Jeremiah Johnson and Tony Holiday. See you then.